All right, so I'm gonna be doing this really fast. I wanted to knock out a video like this because I know a lot of people have been asking about this lately, and a lot of the stuff they've been coming out with, text-wise, has been really unique. Not a lot of people talk about this, and it comes from my own understanding of game, my own unique fundamentals and whatnot. And for the longest time, I always told myself that you don't really need text game if you have just good game. It's unnecessary. But with the advent of online game that I've been trying to pursue lately, after working with endless options and them showing me how valuable it is, not to mention being a dating coach and not being able to help your clients out with texting is obnoxiously bad. It's like being a heart surgeon not knowing how to suture up a scar. It's just, it's just something that I should know how to do. So in this video, I'm going to go through some of the new stuff I'm working on, and I'm also going to be talking about a couple other things. So I am going to be putting this into a messaging dating product, a product for helping people out with their text game. It's going to be a lot of different stuff. It's not going to be regurgitated over like the same stuff you've heard a billion times, which is a lot of what I've seen a lot of other guys do. Which, if you're going to make a product, it better be unique. So mine is going to be a little bit different. I will at times go over the fundamentals of texting that have been laid out before me. Like Todd's different stuff. Todd honestly has amazing text game, and he actually taught me a lot when I worked with him. First, with the top 10 series, what ended up happening was the video ended up being like almost an hour long, and I'm like, well, nobody's gonna watch this video for an hour long, so I started cutting it up, and then I got taken away to side projects and whatnot, and then the video got deleted. Not the full video, but like the part of me talking. So all the cuts and everything else is still there. So now I just got to reshoot the video again. I'm waiting for a new lens for my camera since I'm gonna have to reshoot it. I wanted it being high quality, so I'm getting a new camera. It's gonna be a lot more. It's going to be a better video than my ones in the past have been. It's going to be pretty good. So I hope you guys are excited for that. I'm sorry for it taking so long. Once the camera lens comes in, I'll shoot the video, I'll get it edited up, and I'll get it out immediately. Anyways, let's get into this. All right. So when it comes to text game, it all comes from the frame that I am the prize. A lot of you guys are coming from the frame that I need to say something to get her into me. She's already into you. Like the fact that she swiped on you, if she did swipe, or let's say in person. So if I'm gaming in person, I actually need less of this. My game in person is good enough to where it's not really that big a deal. Like I don't really need, if I'm talking to you in person and I know that my game was really tight with the girl, I don't really need to keep like gaming her over text. I'm not going to because it'll seem try hard. But if I am maybe picking a girl off of a dating app, I will do a lot more of this because I need to demonstrate that I'm a high value person, but I do everything in my power to make it to where that's not the case. And I'll say this, I honestly don't remember the last time that happened. So yeah, if you guys follow these rules, you shouldn't have that problem, honestly. So the first rule is that you are neither a provider nor a player, and you don't want to come across either way. You want to almost like ride the pine. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean that if you guys are talking to a girl and she decides that she wants a player and you're coming across as a provider or like a boring guy, there's no way that she's going to want to fuck you. So what's the other way? The other way is being a player. Now, what's the problem with this? Now, the problem is that if you come across too playery, the girl's going to like, and let's say that the girl doesn't want a player. Let's say she wanted a provider because she got fucked over. And now she's like, I want a provider. Which if she actually did have a provider, she'd cheat on the guy, which we know this, but she doesn't know this. So she's playing a stupid game in her head that makes her feel this way. So you got to avoid both those things. So how do you do this? When you're talking to her, you tease, you joke around, you mess around a lot. You give her a lot of seductive looks. You give her like that energy that says that I'm not afraid of you, that I am a high value guy, that I'm not intimidated whatsoever. But at the same time, that I would have like no problem like tonguing you down and fucking the shit out of you. Now, if you guys can do that and you guys can have that energy where it's like there's no back and forth, where you are comfortable saying you're a man instead of a boy. I know a lot of people have this issue where like you don't feel like you can be a man. If you don't feel comfortable saying you're a man, you really need to fix that. If you feel like a boy, you need to fix it. All right, because being a boy versus a man, there's a big energy difference, and it comes from the belief itself. If you think you're a man, guess what? You're going to start acting like. You're going to start acting like more of a man. So you guys don't need to change that in the head up here first. Now, the way you avoid being a provider is the way that we all know. And we've all been like providers in this shit, like here and there. And the way that you avoid being a provider is avoid the usual frames. Avoid saying that you're going to meet up with her to go on a date. Avoid taking her on usual date places. Avoid taking her usual player places. Don't take her to some hill out in the middle of nowhere, and then some hill where a bunch of teens and stuff go and fuck around. And also at the same time too, don't take her to the movies. Don't take her on dinner. Like take her to like maybe a hookah lounge, Maybe take her, like, coffee is actually the only one that I will say out of all these is actually okay. And the only way I take a girl out to coffee is she's tentative about hanging out. Because I know if she gets out with me, then like she's gonna want to fuck me and she want to also probably see me after the fact if I end up liking her. So from there, like a coffee is just like an easy in. It's like an easy, relaxed way of just meeting up. I also avoid anything about like the usual dating faux pas. Never do a dating faux pas. Whenever you guys send a text message, you want to look at two different things. So if it doesn't have a purpose, don't put into the text. If you're adding extra ums, ahs, likes, like stuff like that, like let's say that you're writing out a text and you could say it with more brevity. Like every time I send out a text, I'll look it over for brevity. I'll be like, oh, I could cut out these 2 words here, and it'll be a lot briefer. Or maybe I will go in and maybe like something like, all right, so this is actually really funny. Sometimes like I will have like something that seems like it's useless or pointless, it'll add an extra vibe to the text, so I'll keep it in. So it's kind of like a fishing and kind of a feel for a lot of you guys. If you guys have this issue, you guys want to feel it out. All right, so feel it out. Does the text that you're sending, does it add extra oomph to it? Does it add extra energy? If it doesn't, then get rid of it. Now, with emojis, I only send emojis if I sense that the girl feels I'm out of her league and she's going to reject me because I am out of her league. So it's like, you guys got to feel it out. Are you out of her league? Or does she feel at ease with you? Or does she feel like you're below her? Now, depending on this, you want, like, that's how you send out emojis. And never, never, never send out memes. Memes are so corny. I know that, like, Jeffy back in the day talked about memes. I never send memes. Unless I've already fucked the girl, or I'm like, we're friends, or we're tight. I never send memes. It's just too try hard. Like, you're gonna send a meme to a girl? No. Next, definitely get an Instagram setup. Now, I hated Instagram for a while because I thought it was like super try hard, and I imagine a lot of you guys feel the same way. Like when a guy posts up a photo of him, like, you know, like fake walking, and then like, you know, like Instagram is helpful. It shows that you have social status, you have friends. It shows that it also can like if you're posting stories that show how outgoing and social and how cool and free you are and how cool your life is, the girl's going to be a lot more likely. It can actually re-spark the attraction down the line. So I use my Instagram actually to get girls who travel to Vegas in and out. So this is how I got my pickup pension plan. I use Instagram. I'll add them to my Instagram, my private Instagram, and I will get them to add me. And then like over a period of time, they'll keep seeing me. I actually fucked a girl, I think. Like, now here's the next thing. I am making templates from my messages because I'm really good at making so like if I read a girl's bio, like I know something clever to say to it. Like I just have to think about it for half a second, and usually I'll come up with something clever. And I started realizing I just have general templates like in my head that I've used over and over, and I can use those templates and like I can use it for the bio. So I'll go through all my templates in my head, and I'll be like, okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna use this template. I'm gonna use that to like, you know, joke around with her. And sometimes I do create some new stuff on the spot. But what I'm doing right now is I'm creating more templates for the messaging product. That way, like anybody that does jump on it, they can use the templates to create like unique messages for each girl, and you don't have to do that much thinking. And also helped me out a lot too, because you know when you're matching with a lot of girls, if you get your stuff set up right, not to mention even the other way around, if you're not getting a lot of matches, you want to make sure that like, you know, your messages are high quality. You know, all right, here. Passing shit tests, that's super easy. I try my best to pass shit tests in a way that makes it seem like I'm just like super out of her league. I always try to reframe it, that she's like attractive, like that she's attracted to me, and that's why she's saying this. Is this your way? Is this how you pick up all your cute men? Is this how you pick up all your cute boys? Is this your way of like trying to get me into bed easy? I'm not that easy. I'm not a piece of meat. I have emotions. You got to write me poetry first, girl. Like stuff like that. Don't add girl at the end of that. I'll say that in person, but I don't send that in text. It just sounds like some girls will get egos about it. He's a misogynist. I don't know why I give her a lisp, but they'll say shit like that. Okay. Frame flipping. So I will constantly reframe it that the girl's hitting on me. Like I look for any reason at all to flip it that she's chasing me all the time. Next thing, do not try to impress her. She's already impressed. She already swiped left, swiped right on you. Man, I don't know these apps that well. I'm so fucking old. Swipe right on you. She swipes right on you. She's already liked you. You don't need to do anything else. I mean, you do, but it's not going to be in the way of materialistic shit. It's not going to be by showing her abs. Like I'm this fat boy over here who's like fucking crushing all you guys, you know? So my personal opinion is never, ever try to qualify money unless it's hidden. I do a lot of hidden shit. Like, I don't know if you guys seen the text I've been posting in this group. But like, if you guys actually read through the text, I do a lot of hidden shit and I hide it really well. Like I will DHV, but DHV super hidden. Like, so if you guys haven't seen those texts, scroll down a little bit, check those ones out because they're actually pretty dope. Let's see. I never go sexual. So if you guys add girls online, there's two ways that most guys always go. Either one is super boring because they think that all that matters is looks, or they don't have a personality, or two, they go super sexual super fast because they're like, if I was swiping right on a girl, I would want to fuck her, so she must want to fuck me. No, she doesn't know she likes you yet. And when you push it that fast, you seem desperate and thirsty, and the girl's gonna be like, nope, and she's gonna like she's gonna unfollow you, and it's just stupid. Don't do it. Every guy's doing this. I promise you that. Two ways you don't do it: don't be boring, and two, don't go sexual. You want to be on your heels. So the idea is that you have messed around with a ton of girls. You have a litany of girls in your bed. Now you're trying to avoid the crazies. You don't want to get stabbed. I mean, a little bit of crazy is cool. Like, tell it, like, this is how you frame it. Like, for you, a little bit of crazy is cool. You say this because you want to come across as the adventurous, not the comfortable person. A little bit of crazy is cool. But if you're too crazy, I don't like the knife in the back. I'm not trying to get my rabbit boiled. I don't want to end up behind a dumpster with my kidneys missing. If you try to rape me, no means no. All right? Don't try it. Don't call the cops on me. Don't say I raped you when I say I don't want to date you, when I'm not into you, when I'm not interested. So these are the kind of things you want to be like putting up front. Like, if you guys see it, like, I'm constantly screening the girls. Like that one girl, the LA girl, I brought up with her that if you're the type of girl that says when a guy compliments you, you say I know, then we're gonna have problems, right? And how did she respond to that? She was like, ha ha ha, all caps, right? That's because I screened her out. She's a very attractive girl. So when I said that to her, now she started chasing me. You guys got to screen, all right? Here. Now, here's the next thing. Early in the interaction, if you are doing online dating, it doesn't matter so much over text. I still will do it, but on online dating, you want to risk offending early. You have to be charismatic. You have to risk being offensive. And if you guys are having a lot of platonic conversations, it's because you were unwilling to offend her. Now, because you're unwilling to offend her, you're going to lose her either way. So you got to risk offending her a little bit. Like, remember, breaking rapport, but don't sever it. If you guys push it too far and you guys offend the ever-loving crap out of her, it will sever rapport and you're not going to win back from this. So it's a fine balance. If you do offend her over the top, apologize, change subjects. But the idea is not to do that to begin with. You want to offend a little bit. Like, you can be like, so if I approach a girl and her friends are there, I'm like, are these bitches trying to kidnap you? And I'll give her a smile and say that I'm joking, so then the girls can like take it. But like, I always risk offending early on so that I can loosen their belt so I can get away with more shit down the line. So like, it's even the reason why I started cussing. The reason I cuss so much is not because there's no other reason to it other than the fact that I want to risk offending in general. Like, even with my YouTube channel, I risk offending people so that I get the people I like. Because if I was to squash myself down and like narrow myself, I'll be a lot less charismatic than I would otherwise. So to be honest though, I can still be offensive without cussing. So maybe down the line I'll break the habit, but it's kind of heavy nowadays. I am always willing to flake girls. If you actually, the hotter the girl, if you flake her, the more she'll be into you down the line. Like, I'll flake a girl and she'll start chasing me for that reason. It's really funny. And also too, be tentative with your time. Like, maybe like you tell her, hey, I think I'm free this day. And if like you find out you aren't, you're too busy, tell her, hey, can we actually meet up on the next day? I'm a little bit too busy and too squashed today. Now it shows you don't care. Like, how would you act if you had 20 girls in your bed right now? That's the way you should text. All right. Let's see, what's the next one? Numbers for in person versus, yeah. So like I said, numbers in person versus online. If I game a girl in person, I already built attraction. Like, my game's pretty tight, so I don't need to do too much over text. If you guys get a number in person, don't overdo it. Try to set up the date in person. Maybe joke with her and whatnot. Maybe like, tease her a little bit, but not over the top. Like, because you already built attraction in person. The only thing you can generally do is lose attraction over text, especially if you suck at it. So in that case, don't push it too hard. But if you're doing it online game wise, you have to risk offending. You have to use your wit to win the girl over online dating. Okay, because there's a lot of competition, and what we have the advantage of over other guys is our words. We're a lot sharper. We're a lot more charismatic than they are. That's what we need to use to our advantage. So this is the way that I have developed my canned line list for texting, which again, it will be in the messaging product, but I don't want to put it out there just yet. And also too, I don't have it like in front of me, so I'm not going to go through the effort of trying to pull it up right now because I'm a lazy fuck. But I'll put it like this. Every time you get a text and you don't know what to respond to, or maybe you lose the girl, like, I did a couple things. One is, if I sent a certain text, and every time I sent a certain text, like over the period of time of like maybe like a month or two, and I found that the girl wouldn't give me a positive response to it in the future, I would actually go the opposite direction with it. So let's say I was like constantly, maybe I was like qualifying this way, I would never qualify now. Maybe I'll send like a one-word response, and now the girl would actually chase me. If something isn't working, go the opposite direction and see how it works, And maybe like from there, just start, if that doesn't work, the opposite doesn't work, which usually it does, start experimenting. So if I get a certain message over and over again, I usually have like canned lines prepared. You guys should be developing canned lines. So what I'll do is like I'll copy and paste and put it to like a colored note, and then over time I just develop a whole bunch of canned lines. Like so, for example, if you ever have a girl like try to, so as you guys have seen through my YouTube titles, I have the worst time with grammar and spelling errors. For a writer, I'm like totally trash at this. So what I usually do, so sometimes the girl will correct me on text. So what I'll do, like she'll go asterisk and then the correct spelling of the word. So let's say it's your versus your. So you are versus your. Like let's say she corrects me. So she goes your, Y-O-U-R, like asterisk Y-O-U-R. And then I go, then what I'll reply with is asterisk Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. And I'll write down below it, I spell how I want ho, and I'll do a tongue face. And just to kind of lighten it up. But like I risk offending to get her back to get her into me. And it's like just kind of like, you know, like I don't give a fuck. But it's playful. It's not like meant to hurt her. Like if you guys are doing this stuff to hurt the girl, that's the problem. But if you're doing it to be playful and joking, and the girl's intelligent, socially intelligent, which she should be, especially if she's an attractive girl, she'll take it the right way. But that's the way you do it. So I'll use the tongue emoji to lighten it up, show that I'm joking with her instead of like being harsh. All right. Let's see. What's the next one? Don't set date immediately. Oh, so when I try to set up a date with a girl over text, what I'll do is I'll usually be like, hey, what are you up to Saturday? And it goes, oh, I don't know, I'm pretty free. I'm like, oh, dope. Okay, cool. Anyways, I was really curious about such and such thing that maybe like some conversation we had earlier. Maybe I'll make a joke with her about a conversation topic from before. And then what will happen is like usually 2 to 3 lines down the row, she'll be like, well, here, Saturday I'm free at this time. Want to meet now at this time? Now she's chasing me. Sometimes it's like a really good thing to do to like maybe like ask like when you're free and then not like set up the date right there and then. Instead, you take your time with it. Now what happens oftentimes is the girl will chase you, or the second outcome is that she doesn't. Then after 3 texts, I ask her out anyways. And it makes you look super non-needy, which is really big. It's a big thing like to not appear needy with a girl when you're like just take my word for this. Take your time with the texting. That's a big thing, okay? If you set up a date, like don't like immediately after asking her when she's free, set up the date then, wait it out 2 or 3 more lines down the road. Like she'll sometimes, like for me personally, they usually chase me. I've only had it like once where they didn't, but most of the time with me, they'll chase me down the line. And then from there, now they chased me. Now they're going back, now they're investing in me. And now that they set up the date instead of me, they're going to be a lot more likely to show up. And they're also going to be a lot more likely to take it seriously and also be really into me off the bat before even meeting me. Oh, I'm going to be, let's tell you, hey, girl, your type. Oh, so you should have a type of girl that you like in your head, and you should be like actively trying to screen the girl out to an extent. Like sometimes I will trick, if the girl's hot, I will trick myself into screening anyways. So I'll play this little game in my head where I'm like, oh, you know, I won't like her. She's this, this, and this. But then like I'll like rationalize my emotional side and be like, she is all of this, you know. But in all actuality, I know on the deep down that I'm not really into her. I'm just like kind of telling myself a little story so that I can close this, so that I look more free of outcome. Which I will say this. So I categorize girls into different subsects for myself. It makes it a lot easier for me. So there's those girls that I won't even touch with a 10-foot pole. Maybe they're just super disgusting person, or maybe they're like, maybe they're just not attractive. And I'm like, okay, I'll be nice to her, but I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna date her or fuck her or anything like that. Now the next one is like maybe a one-night stand. Like I'll fuck her, but I won't talk to her afterwards, and I'll try to set it up with her the right way. This is another thing. If you're trying to like get a girl into bed, it does not help to try to sell her the Disneyland story about how you're going to date her and how she's going to be the one and whatnot. Don't do that. One, it's putting a lot of pressure on the girl, and two, it also is, it's setting her up to like set you up for the 3-date route. And it also, because you're being incongruent, because you don't want to date her, I imagine. If you're like doing this whole like dancing song and whatnot, and you don't want to actually legitimately date her, then don't do the song and dance. It's unnecessary, because if you do the song and dance, she's going to put you on a 3-date route. But if you avoid the song and dance, she's probably going to fuck you on the first date. So don't do the song and dance. Don't tell her, oh, we're going to be together and whatnot. You don't even fucking know her. The same way you're trying to feel her out. Like I oftentimes, girls sometimes will like try to like move too fast with me over text, and I'll call them out for it. I'm like, dude, you don't know me. You might hate my ass here once we meet up. I'm kind of a bit of a D-bag. Do you see how I'm doing that? I'm a bit of a D-bag. Like, you might hate my ass after you meet me. I mean, I'm fun and whatnot, but I'm kind of a bit of a douche. I mean, I hope we get along, but if we don't, it's not a big deal. We can always be friends. I mean, I wouldn't make it that long, obviously brevity, but like that's the underlining frame. Like if girls trying to push stuff. So I'll do it like that, and it shows that I'm also still on my heels. I don't know if I like you. You don't know if you like me. So, all right. Yeah, so screen a little bit. So I'll tell you guys what I screen on. Like, this is actually legitimately what I look for in a girl. So effeminate energy, love effeminate energy. I want somebody with my love languages, because if you have somebody that has love language different than your own, you guys are going to always be at odds and trying to like communicate, and it's going to be tough. 1, do I find you attractive? 2, do we have bomb-ass sex? 3, can you be my best friend? 4, you're not too crazy, right? I like a little bit of crazy, but not too much crazy. A little, like, no crazy is boring, but over the line can be a lot of fun too. But I'm not gonna like date you seriously if you're over the top like crazy. Like, I'll mess around with you and I'll be friends with you and we can be like in an open relationship, but dating like seriously, no, hell no. This is the last thing too, because I think it's the last one that I wrote down. Yeah, it is. Which I'm gonna coalesce this a little bit more over time and try to get like more like hardcore, like set in stone fundamentals. But a lot of you guys are afraid to leave a girl in red. Sometimes I'll add her on Snapchat and she'll send me something and I'm like, I don't want to respond to this, or I'll be too busy. And I'm like, I'll think of something later to respond to with. So then I'll like leave her on red, and then maybe in an hour or two I'll respond to what she said. Or maybe like over like if you guys got an iPhone, you leave her on red and you're like, I don't know what to say yet, I'm just gonna leave it alone for now. Or maybe you're too busy. I'm gonna leave it alone, I'm just too busy, I can't respond yet. And then she's gonna see that you left her on red, and she's gonna be like, why did you leave me on red? Does he not like me? Then you respond. When she responds back, she's gonna be really into you. So there's no need to respond immediately when you read a text. Sometimes you just look at it, decide not to respond. Hot girls do it all the time. Be the hot guy. Be the guy that every girl's into. If you're the guy that every girl's into, like, you don't have to respond immediately. You don't care. She doesn't like you. She doesn't like you. So that's just the way it works. All right. Now, let me know if you guys have any questions. I know that this was like a really long one. I will like eventually at some point maybe make more of a like coalesced version of this, because I am kind of like still breaking down my fundamentals of messaging. I've just done it so naturally for so long and I've just been good at it, just because I've been in game for so long. So I'm just trying to figure out what it is I'm doing for my own understanding of game, because it kind of like I subconsciously kind of built on it. I'd be like, oh, every time I do this, it doesn't work out. So it's like it's a lot of refinement and error over time. And so when you get good at game or you work yourself out, you sometimes forget like the hurdles that got you to where you are. And just because it was so long ago, or just because it like passively happened, you're like, oh, every time that I stutter, every time that I talk behind my throat, or every time that I don't give the girl eye contact, like sometimes it just happens naturally. You're like, oh, I'm just the shit. I don't know. And you start giving the girl more eye contact, and you're like, you don't really consciously notice it. Like a lot of guys, a lot of coaches, a lot of people, they'll give really good eye contact. They don't know why the girl's into them. They're just like, I'm sexy. I'm sexy. Every girl likes me because I'm just hot. And now he just gives the girls better eye contact because of that. Like, this is something that he's never going to know. So I'm trying to break it down into like more understandable increments and fundamentals so you guys can use that in the future. All right. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Peace out.
Bullshit. Yeah, look at my life. I wish they could study me. The word fan means looking familiar. Know what my own people done to me. Lie my name, put thoughts in my brain. They ain't really had no left for me. Tell the truth, now I wasn't ashamed, but I couldn't let them get under me. Fuck them, it don't get no better. I hold my grudges forever. Hatred so long you can measure. My blessings take longer than